All right, well, welcome everybody to the Strive for 5 attendance campaign launch. We are so excited to have a lot of our high school athletes here. We have representatives from Benton, Central, Lafayette, all of our number 5 athletes, or at least some of them, and it looks like we've got quite a few sports, fall sports represented especially. And then we've also got our number 5 player from Missouri Western. He's from the St. Louis area, and we've got Raleigh from the St. Joseph Mustangs here as well. We thought it would be fun to get our number 5 athletes to represent the 5 in Strive for 5. So thank you all for coming here and joining us today. And really, this campaign is something that is important for students to understand, but it's also important for our community and our parents to understand as well. So that's why we've invited some of our community partners here today. Christy from the Chamber is here. Our other partners also include the United Way and the Buchanan County Commissioner's Office. They couldn't be here today, but they have been very active throughout this process as well. Also, Altech is a business supporter, and we couldn't have done this without them either. So I want to tell you a little bit more about Strive for 5, and we're going to invite Dr. Lau and Dr. Hubbock and Sarah DeGarmo up to do that.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank all the student athletes for being here and Raleigh as well today. And just to give you a brief summary of how this campaign originated, we have been struggling in the St. Joe School District to improve our attendance. And as a result, we've looked outwards at other models that are having some success in other communities. And as a result of that, we were able to find Grand Rapids, Michigan, and how well they had done with a campaign that was really focused on the community, not just the schools, but the community in terms of helping to improve student attendance. And so once we found that material and talked with some researchers, we began to go out into the community, reached out to the chamber, reached out to the county commissioners, our businesses, Altech, and in addition the United Way, and began to work with them and ask them how they felt about partnering with us in a way to help our community, help our parents, help our students better understand the importance of attendance and how critical that is to shaping your future. So that's the origin of how we landed on this approach to improving student attendance, but it's more than just schools. It is about our community. And now I'll let Dr. Hubbock talk a little bit, and then we'll turn it over to Sarah DeGarmo, who has helped us immensely with this campaign.
Thank you, Dr. Lau. Well, it is fitting that we're standing here between these two trees, these beautiful trees, and in front of an elementary school, because the future really begins much sooner than we think. As director of secondary, I work an awful lot with our middle school and high school students, and one thing that I think I would want the community to know is that education is critical from pre-K through 3rd grade, essentially. That's when the foundation begins. There's this old Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. So these trees just didn't spring up overnight. Last school year, our 1st grade and kindergarten students had a chronic absenteeism rate of about 19.5%. So that's our foundation. We must do better long term if we want to see our young men and women graduate and succeed in life. So ultimately, we have to confront some of the brutal facts. And the one that stands out the most, as much as we love St. Joseph, we're not doing as well as we should in terms of student attendance. The latest data that we have is from the 2015-16 school year. And there were, of the districts that had 80% or better proportional attendance rate, St. Joseph, there were 543 of those districts that had 80% or better, and St. Joseph was number 518. So a quick calculation shows that of that group, St. Joseph was in the bottom 5% of all districts in the state of Missouri. And again, that was the 2015-16 school year, when as a district K-12, our attendance rate was 84.4% of students attended 90% of the time. While still unofficial I believe, the projection is that the 2016-17 attendance district-wide dropped to 84% of students attending 90% of the time. I think a lot of times the perception is attendance challenges persist at the secondary level. And when we dug into the data last year, what we saw is that every secondary school saw an increase in attendance last year. 1 out of the 7 schools met the goal. Bodie met the goal of 90% attendance. And from the elementary level, 12 out of the 16 schools actually saw a decline in attendance last school year. So again, if we want a vibrant, healthy workforce, we have to start with the foundation. So really, that's the heartbeat of Strive for 5. We don't want, students, we do not want you to miss 5 days. We've looked at the data and what we've determined. And this data, if you go to, there's a blog, strivefor5stjoe.com. If you visit that blog, you can see some of the statistics that look at the relationship between student learning, student achievement, even grade point averages at the high school level, and attendance rates. And the data is staggering and validates what many of us know is true intuitively, that you have to come to school if you want to win in the game of life. So again, that is the essence of Strive for 5. St. Joe is an amazing community to live in and work in and call home. And if we're going to take that next step and really cultivate a workforce that can thrive and compete in the rest of our country and in Missouri, it starts every day by coming to school. So next up, Sarah DeGarmo.
Hi, my name is Sarah DeGarmo, and a lot of the designed materials that you guys see come from my business. I actually was a graduate from the St. Joseph School District. I was a student athlete, so I appreciate you guys being here because school hasn't started yet. So this is a big commitment for you all to be here. And I was lucky enough that as a student athlete, my dad was actually my coach. And he would print off little quotes before practice, and we had to stick them in our shin guard. I was a soccer player. And one of the quotes that I remember having to memorize, if we didn't memorize our quote, by the way, we had to run at the end of practice until somebody did memorize their quote. So that's where I'm tying this in. But one of the quotes was, everything I needed to know I learned in kindergarten. And so what Dr. Hubbock was just talking about, how those, kindergarten through 3rd grade levels, every grade level matters. But if we can establish really healthy patterns at an early age, we're teaching our students a lot more than just what they're learning in the classroom, but just to show up in life, to show up for the job that you're going to have, 20 years down the road. So I want to explain a little bit about what you're going to see with the Strive for 5 campaign, because we've created a set of materials for both the elementary education grades, and then we've also created a set of materials for the secondary education grade levels. And so a lot of what you're going to see at the elementary level, you're going to see signage everywhere at all the schools posted outside. But at the elementary level, when you walk into your schools, you're going to see some what we call leaderboards. And those leaderboards are actually a way for us to track, for the principals to track attendance and to get kids excited on a big board of, okay, how did 5th grade do versus how did kindergarten do this month of September? And so really getting kids excited about maybe some interclass competition. We're encouraging principals to kind of set some fun goals and have some exciting prizes for the winners of each month and the winners of each of the year. You're also going to see take-home attendance calendars. I think this is going to be really popular with some of our younger students, to bring home an attendance calendar so that they can track their attendance with their parents and maybe put some fun stickers and things like that on them. You're also going to see back-to-school night flyers that are going to go out to all of the parents, so both elementary and secondary at grade levels. And then within the high schools and the middle schools, you're going to see a lot of statistics posters, really trying to motivate students to graduate, because that's a really big deal, to graduate from high school, and just what the success rate of your attendance plays in your overall graduation from high school, and then your possible career in the future, whether that be with college or your career. So we're excited for you guys to see, for the community to see what all we've created, and just excited for students to put it to good use. So.
All right, thank you guys. I know they're starting to sweat. I promised them 15 minutes or so. So let's bring up Heather Beaulieu from here at Parkway Elementary. She's the principal. She's going to talk a little bit about the impact here at the building level.
Hello, welcome to Parkway. Thanks for being here today. We are very excited at the building level to support a district initiative that draws attention to school attendance in our community. We know that the key ingredient to a student's success is attendance. And not only do we think that it benefits students academically to have positive attendance, but also socially and emotionally. Students come every day and build relationships with staff. They make connections with their peers. So we are very excited to kick off this year on a positive note. And this campaign gives us one more chance to let kids know that we can't wait to see them every day starting on Wednesday. So thank you for being here.
All right. You guys ready to be done? Yeah, we have to get a good picture of you guys first. But again, thank you to everyone for coming out today. This is really important for us to make a big impact with this campaign, and we hope that you'll all be involved. This is really just the start of it, and it won't be a one-year campaign that we're doing. This is something that starts this year, and we hope to make it even bigger and better every year moving forward. So thank you all for coming out. Okay, and Dr. Haynes is starting to get a sunburn, so I'm going to make this quick. All right, they told me, we tried this, and they told me they did not want to talk on the microphone, so it's his fault, okay? All right, tell me your name and your sport.
Remington Roderick in football.
Okay.
James Husky, football.
At Missouri Western.
Diego Bernard, football.
And?
St. Joe Lafayette.
All right.
Hallie Norris, volleyball.
Trevor Mole, Benton High School, football.
Malik Bennett, Benton High School, football.
Jaden Peters, Benton High School, softball.
Nikki Adams, Lafayette, volleyball.
Yeah, we know. Okay.
Taylor Shoemaker, Benton dance team.
Darian Duncan, Benton dance team.
I tried to get them to do a cheer for us, but they said no as well. So anyway, thank you guys all for coming out tonight. Thanks to everyone who's been a part of this campaign as we get it launched. And we hope you'll help us as we try to make a big impact throughout the St. Joseph School District. Thanks for coming, everyone.